So in the latest episode of Devs, Kenton and Lily take an interesting trip down to the doctor's office. Lyndon has a big discovery. Jamie seems to be in trouble. And Lily only has 48 hours. We're going to talk about that and much more. Episode 4 of Devs. After Lily's behavior at Amaya, Kenton forces her to see a psychiatrist. Meanwhile, the Devs teams disagree over the ethics of their invention, and Forrest asserts his commitment to the project. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back today to talk about the latest episode of FX on Hulu Devs, episode 4. Very interesting episode. Very excited to talk about it in this spoiler-filled discussion, review, and recap. Before we dive into it, guys, as you can see on the screen, make sure you're following me on all my social media accounts. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. Last but not least, if and when you've seen this latest episode of Devs, I want to talk about it with you all. Speculations, theories, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, stick around to the end of this video. I have a pretty interesting announcement that I'm doing for this channel, so definitely stick around and see what that is all about. But we are here to talk about Devs, guys, and I'm really enjoyed this episode. This was a great balance of, as I mentioned in my last week's episode, it was more character driven. We find out more about Lily and Jin's relationship. We see Lily kind of play the whole act in front of Kenton in regards to her psychological mindset and everything that she's gone through in the past that she made up. But this episode really kind of takes both storylines with Lily in the suspicion of Devs and them being, the mob, as she's mentioned in this episode. But also we learn more about the invention and get a little bit more time with some of my favorite characters like Stuart and Lyndon. And I really was fascinated by this episode. So it starts off with a really kind of interesting dream-like sequence where we see Lily and we see Katie and we see, Lyndon and Stuart kind of in the Devs facility, and kind of just an interesting way to start the episode. We see a dead rat. It was just a very interesting amount of sequences and shots that we got. Very beautiful looking, just very kind of interesting. Just let me know what you all thought about that sequence, which I thought was beautifully shot, but it was just very kind of interesting how it kind of set the tone for the episode. But immediately I thought we had a little bit of foreshadowing going on, because we see at the very beginning of the episode, we see Stuart and Lyndon and Katie at their desk, and they're doing their quantum science stuff with their projection time machine. And then we see like they have a slight earthquake, and we see Stuart kind of make a joke about that, how they're kind of where they are. If there was an earthquake, they would all be dead. But he makes a joke to Katie and says, but that won't happen, because we all know, alluding to Katie looking at the future. And as we talked about last week, her breaking the rules, her maybe looking into the future and knowing what things kind of play out and how things kind of wrap up. I thought that was really interesting, because again, it alludes to them breaking the rules, which was mentioned quite a few times in this episode. But going back to my foreshadowing theory, I think that by the time the season kind of wraps up, Stuart's prediction of maybe a earthquake taking down Devs might come into fruition. We might, that's something to keep in mind later in this episode if something like that does kind of play out. But again, within that moment, we get that moment where he says that she's maybe looking into the future, which we'll talk a little bit about later in this review here. So we see Forrest. He goes and looks at the projection, and it seems that he sees, which I'm pretty sure, because obviously it was kind of revealed later in the next few scenes, that he was looking at Lily crawling on the floor and, looking into the future. And then again, we get more conversations about them breaking the rules. Forrest is very aware that even though he has these rules in place, not to break the rules and not to look to the future, that he knows that everyone's doing it and he's doing it. So more rule breaking and Devs. So it seems like people don't want to take that rule very seriously there. Again, if you had the ability to not only look into the past, but also look into the future, it's very tempting there. So we get that moment and we might, and also within that scene, we see, Forrest having a conversation with Katie about the physical universe that we live in versus the magical universe that might be explored within this technology that they're playing with, which I thought was a really fascinating question and kind of conversation there. And that's within that scene that we find out that Lily has only 48 hours to live, as Katie kind of says in that moment within this scene. So very interesting to see in the next couple episodes how that scene plays out. Does, as they mentioned a lot in this episode, is there a way to alter that future, that prediction? Who knows? But like I said, Lily's lifeline, or her life, is on the line in the next 48 hours. So very interesting reveal there. We see Lily is now staying at Jamie's house, and we get some interesting moments between those two. I don't know if it's, again, if she's obviously very appreciative of Jamie helping her out and giving her a place to stay and kind of, figuring out Sergei's murder and everything, but I think there still might be a little bit of an emotional connection right now. Again, of course, she has a lot of emotions going on right now, but let me know in the comments, do you guys think there's still I think on Jamie's end, he definitely still has some feelings for Lily, but let me know if you guys think that feeling is reciprocated for Lily, if she's starting to maybe get back into that mindset that she was when they were dating. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. So we see, she stays at his house, and another question that was kind of brought to my, that kind of thought to myself was like, can we trust Jamie? I think we can so far, but who knows, especially towards the end of this episode when Kenton comes to Jamie's house and they have that kind of moment there where he says, hello, Jamie, almost like he knew him. I wonder, can we trust Jamie? Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. I think we can, but that would be a nice little twist if he ends up working for Forrest or has some type of relationship with Kenton. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below. But we see Jamie encouraging Jamie or Lily to call the cops and get the FBI involved, which I didn't think was a good idea, and we'll talk about that later, but he kind of puts that notion into her mind. So, and we'll talk about that later on. So we get, some really good scenes in this episode. We get, some characters that I thought that would be really fascinating to see on the same screen, and we get that with Pete character and Kenton, as Kenton goes to Lily's house to see where she is, to take her off to the doctor, and we see Pete kind of sticking up for Lily, and kind of saying that, I think she left the sign in the window for you. I thought that was funny, but I'm really fascinated to see if Pete has a much bigger role within this series. Is he maybe some type of undercover operative that we might not know about and might have directions from Sergei to look after Lily or, the Russians. Who knows if Pete's going to play a bigger character? I think he will, but let me know you guys' thoughts. I think Pete's going to be a pretty pivotal character moving on. So, but again, I really like that moment, kind of the back and forth that we get with Pete and Kenton in that moment there. So we see Lyndon, who, again, I'm a big fan of Lyndon and Stewart. I love all their scenes together, but we see Lyndon discovers a pretty big thing. She was able, I'm not going to go over the scientific understanding of the scientific things that she says within this moment, but she's able to figure out within the wavelengths, within the technology that they're using, to translate the words that were being spoken by the projection that we assumed or that we know to be of Jesus. And pretty big moment, right? So she shows the class. It's like these smart people and these smart scientists, they all have their special, unique talents, and she shows them what she's able to discover, thinking that, Forrest is going to be pretty happy because a couple episodes ago, or last episode maybe, where he mentions that it's either everything, we figure out everything, or it's nothing at all. So she says that line to him and shows him the discovery, and he's not impressed. He actually fires her. She gets a $10 million payout or separation thing, and he just lets everyone know that you're not going to undermine my project. And saying it without saying it, that he said to Lyndon, if you tell anyone about what you've been doing here, I will find out, aka I will kill you, just like I did to Sergei, and also to any other employees that we might not know about that might have slipped up or might have told people what they're doing at the dev department. So very fascinating scene there, but also very interesting to see how she was able to discover that technology and kind of translate what Jesus said 2,000 years ago. Really, really interesting to see. And again, this episode to me really focuses on the character moments, Lily, Jamie, Kenton, but also we get more of the devs department. I love that we spent some time with Stewart and saw the emotional moments with them hugging each other after she finds out the discovery, but also the moment when she finds out that she's fired. And, Stewart, kind of an older mentor towards Lyndon, as she mentions, yeah, I'm going to be rich, but I'm never going to see this place again. I'm never going to see you again. And that's when he tells her, he has a heart-to-heart to her. I need you to understand what he was saying, that he will kill you. So I really like that moment there because they're two of my favorite characters. And it's so interesting. They work for this devs department and they know what Forrest has done to Cersei. So how do you guys feel about them? Do you like them like me, or do you kind of see them in that light that they are somewhat villains because they're going along with what happened to Sergei? They're going along with this project that they're working on. Are they good guys? Are they bad guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I really enjoy Stewart and Lyndon. So I don't know if he's going to kill her regardless because of the information she knows. I thought that he was going to maybe say that he was firing her, but maybe have her focus on other projects. But we'll see what happens to Lyndon. I think she's a really cool character, and I hope that he doesn't kill her. But, who knows? At this point, Forrest seems to just want to kill everyone that threatens his technology. So we see, Lily goes to the doctor. They have that conversation there. She's still kind of playing on the front. We don't see what she actually tells him, but as Kenton comes to pick her up and, says he has to pay off the invoice, we knew that the doctor was paid by them, as we knew from last episode, and he tells her that she's a very intelligent woman, but this is all an act. So at this point, we know that, Kenton kind of knows that everything that she was going through, or everything that she made up from last week's episode. But it's really, really interesting to see kind of Lily again. The actress is doing a really good job of how she's kind of making this story up and trying to make them believe that she has, this schizophrenic type of personality or episodes, but I really like that moment there. So he finds all that out. We see the moment that I thought was really well shot and also really intense, which was the moment where Kenton was going to drive her to her home, but I assume he was going to take her to a psychiatric ward, but Lily tells her to take her home. He doesn't do so. She takes the wheel and they crash into the side of the highway, which again, I thought the scene was really well done as far as intensity and the way it looked. I thought it was really Alex Garland doing a fantastic job, but we get that moment there. She gets out of the car, and as we kind of wrap up the episode here in this breakdown and recap, we see Forrest, goes and has a little conversation, kind of a altercation with Katie in regards to the firing of Lyndon, and we see that Katie applies the technology that Lyndon discovers and applies it to the Amaya light waves, and we see Forrest looking at his daughter Amaya, and she has the most clearest projection that we've seen so far. So I don't know, is this good for Lyndon? Is he going to bring her back to kind of really tweak out the technology? Is he going to apply it to more things as far as getting, looking at these projections for his daughter? And we still don't know what exactly he wants to do with this technology, whether he's trying to bring her back or he's trying to, change the past or whatever the case may be. But with this technology, we see that, again, this is the clearest projection that he's seen of his daughter thus far. And I'm very interested to see what actually happened to his daughter. So as the episode wraps up, Lily makes it back home, all distressed and scratched up from the car accident. Jamie asks her what happened. She calls the police. We see the police on their way there. You're thinking that the police are going to help them out, but nope. The devs, the minor team already has infiltrated the police. They switched the story on it where the psychologist tells the police that, what happened with Kenton. We see that they take her under arrest, and you see Jamie trying to help her out, but Kenton grabs Jamie and says, "Hello, Jamie," as is he might have met Jamie in the past. I don't know if he's worked with him in the past at another tech company, if they know each other from something. Again, is Jamie working with devs? I don't know, but a very interesting scene because we see him choking him on the floor or on the wall, close up the windows. And I didn't see a preview for next week, but they, on the Hulu app, you can see Jamie's on the floor talking to Kenton. I assume that maybe Kenton's going to, force it out of him, the information that he's been given, or trying to maybe tell him everything that he knows because he's in on it. I don't know, but very interesting way to end the episode. But again, I really like the balance of the sci-fi elements in this episode, but also still continuing to tell the story, the emotional elements that's going to make us as an audience care about these characters once stuff really kind of breaks down. So again, 4 for 4 in my book. I've really enjoyed this show thus far. It's my favorite sci-fi show on TV thus far. No disrespect to Westworld fans. I haven't watched Westworld, but I just love the sci-fi elements. I love the characters, and the story has been really fascinating. So I am just on the moon with this show thus far. So like I said, 4 for 4 for me, and I can't wait for episode 5. But let me know what you all thought of this episode in the comments below. As I had mentioned up top, I will be having a special announcement. I might as well give it away now. So as we all know, Friday on the 20th, we were supposed to, the world release of A Quiet Place 2 was supposed to drop, but as we all know, with the virus, the spread of the virus, that film has been pushed back indefinitely. So what I'm going to do tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time is I'm going to have a watch along on my YouTube Live for the original Quiet Place that came out 2 years ago. So if you guys want to join, that will be in the information will be in the description below, but I will be doing a watch along with this show or with this movie, the original Quiet Place, which if you guys don't own the movie, it is available to stream on Hulu, so we can watch it along together, have some commentary, talk about the film, talk about the potentiality of the sequel, and just have a fun time. So definitely join me tomorrow on this channel, YouTube Live, watch along for A Quiet Place Part 1. Hope you guys can join me. Again, like, share, comment below your thoughts on the latest episode of Devs, your theories, all the stuff that you're liking or disliking about the show. Let me know in the comments below. I will be back talking about the episode 3 of Amazing Stories, and we have a couple movies coming out on Netflix. I have my watch along, so definitely keep an eye out for those videos. So thank you all for watching. this video, and we'll see you pretty soon.